This week, we're coming to you live to tape from Echo Island RV Resort in Colville, Utah. We're at our High Desert Hangout meetup. We're having a great time with a lot of friends, but we're here this week to talk about Breckenridge, Colorado. I know it's weird, it's a different place, but that's where we are and that's where we're going. This is RV Miles.
Chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox designs and manufactures the best towing products in the industry. Just look around. You'll find them on highways, in campgrounds, and anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. From award-winning tow bars and base plates to a full line of weight-distributing hitches, adjustable ball mounts, and now they have fifth-wheel hitches too. With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. Visit blueox.com for more information. Harvest Host is a membership that allows RVers to take a rest from the road and enjoy unlimited overnight stays at over 5,100 unique locations in North America, like breweries, farms, attractions, wineries, and much more. Easily plan and book your next RV trip and enjoy over $1,500 in exclusive member benefits by joining Harvest Host. Get 15% off your first year of membership with the code MILES. That's MILES. Go to harvesthost.com to become a Harvest Host member today.
Welcome to episode number 360 of RV Miles. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby, and we are two RVers who, along with our three boys and a host of about 35 other people, have been RVing all across North America, well, for some of us, since 2016. Here at RV Miles, we talk all things RV and outdoors, from industry news to travel destinations. People make beignets behind us, and so much more.
We're having a blast here at our sort of fall or spring. What season is this? At our spring meetup, I think we've sort of decided now. I think we're going to do something in the spring and something in the fall every year. But we're having a really great time with old friends and new friends here at our little meetup gathering here in Utah, and the weather is fantastic. It's gorgeous outside, and we're learning so much about. There's something about little mini rallies like this, even the big ones, but something like about this size where you get to talk to people, you get to go see their rigs, you get to have little group gatherings, and you learn things that, you've been doing this for a long time. And you think you kind of know most of the stuff you need to know, and you learn things that just sort of completely upend what you thought about how you set up your water system or how you deal with your sewer or where you go boondocking, that sort of stuff. So it's really fun for me to be a part of something like this and to learn from all of these great folks here.
What I learned during the rig crawl is that I need to pace myself during the rig crawl, because there was a lot of alcohol that was applied to me at that rig crawl yesterday, and I was not very good about pacing myself. You should never start a rig crawl out by doing a shot. That just doesn't really bode well for the rest of the rig crawl. So
I started the rig crawl out with an ice cream sandwich. I don't know what was going on with you, but
I went straight for my dessert, which was liquid. So it was fantastic. We had a really great time yesterday. We've got a full day of activities happening here as well, and then we all say goodbye to one another tomorrow. So this has been a fantastic weekend so far, but that is not what we are talking about today. We are going back in time, and we are headed back to Breckenridge, which, as many of you know, ended up being a little bit different for us than we anticipated. A little bit more expensive than we had budgeted.
We knew it was going to be expensive, but it became even more expensive. So,
it did.
So let's dive right in to Breckenridge, Colorado. So Breckenridge was our last major stop before here. Last week on the episode, we were recording from our boondocking location. That was just a quick couple nights before getting here to Colville, Utah. And then before Breckenridge, we met our friends in Fort Collins. So Breckenridge was really the first real big stop on this trip where we were going to be doing lots of things. And of course, that was upended by Abby's brother having an illness that caused her to leave us for a while. But I
hung out for about 36 hours in Breckenridge, and then I thought, why not go drive 2,300 more miles and then come back and then drive thousands of more miles with my family. So, yes, I was not around for Breckenridge as much as you as the boys. But I do think, even those few days gave me kind
You
of a
got
taste
a
of
bit
the
of an
area.
insight.
Yeah, it's a really cool spot to hang out.
So one of the reasons we went to where we went to Breckenridge because I wanted to ski. The boys wanted to ski with me. I'd been sort of getting them a couple lessons back home at some of our smaller ski areas, and we're learning a bit. The kids are trying to figure out things. I've been skiing all my life, but they're new to this. So we thought, okay, we're going to go to a big ski resort and give them some time on some longer runs and stuff like that. But of course, RVing, it's hard to RV in the cold, at least for people who don't do it all the time. There are certainly lots of people that spend all winter in the deep, deep cold. More power to all you, but I don't think we can do that. A week or two at a time is our limit. But it was going to be cold in Breckenridge, and we knew that. When we pulled into the resort, there was plenty of snow on the ground and plenty more came. But this was sort of a week before the end of the ski season. So we came in the weekend before Easter, and the resort closed. Not the resort we stayed at, but the ski resort closed on the end of Easter weekend.
Yeah, so we should say where we were at, for those that don't
Sure.
know. We were at Tiger Run RV Resort, or Tiger Run Resort. Tiger Run is incredibly popular with RVers who want to visit Breckenridge, in addition to also having a host of cabins on site. If we had family that could have joined us, they would have stayed at the cabins. So Tiger Run's really, really popular. Tiger Run is also somewhat expensive.
Everything in sort of like the Summit County ski resort towns is expensive.
Yeah.
And the thing about Tiger Run is it's really the only sort of full hookup resort that I know of that is near one of the big ski areas where you can very quickly get into town and visit.
Do you think it's the most expensive place we've stayed? Because I've been going back and forth on this.
I don't know what we paid at Fort Wilderness, but I do know. So the first week we were here, our original reservation, they have different rates per night depending on weekday and weekend stuff, and then season. So the first 7 days that were our original reservation averaged out to $133 a night, including taxes. When we extended our reservation after you had to leave, we added 3 more days on.
Yeah.
Those days averaged out to $108 a night. So
Yeah.
it's expensive. I mean, there's just no way around it. But the trade-off is you're not driving an hour and a half in to go skiing or whatever, and that's and they have winterized water and they have a lot of amenities, which we'll get to in a minute. But it is it's a nice place. The weird thing about Tiger Run. That maybe people have experienced in places like Florida a lot, Arizona, but there's not a ton of places like this, but it's a sort of owner community. So people own the individual sites. It's kind of like an HOA, right? So people own a site or a cabin site, and then there's an organization that runs and rents out all the sites and stuff for those people when they're not staying at the sites. So if you wanted, just to give you an idea of why it costs so much to stay a night there, if you wanted to buy a campsite there, just a campsite, and they're very nice campsites, concrete pads. You've got a little owner. I think you have to build it yourself, though, if it's not already there. But you've got a little owner shed that you can lock your owner equipment in. If you have like a fire pit and your camp chairs and stuff, you want to leave there and lock up. It's a very nice little log cabin owner shed that you have a pergola over and stuff. The cheapest site that they have for sale right now was $375,000. And there were ones that were $450, and then there were cabin sites that were more than that, right?
So where we live, $350,000 can buy quite a large home. So
we do live in one of the most affordable places to live in the country.
We do. So
yeah.
Obviously, these sites are owned by people who really love that area. And I think anyone who's really into skiing, who skis pretty frequently, has kind of already made peace with the fact that they have just invested in an extremely expensive activity.
Yeah.
Like that's the reality. Like coming to Breckenridge, if you're coming to ski, you're spending a lot of money.
People give us a hard time when we go to like Disney World about the cost of that. The skiing is way more expensive. Even just the lift tickets are more expensive, way more expensive than a day at Disney World. But
Wait,
Tiger
what?
runs busy. Yes.
What?
Have you not looked at the credit card statement?
No.
I only skied one day.
You only took 2 people with you for like 7 hours.
Yeah, I'm not including like the hotel and stuff. I'm saying the.
I read.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Wow. No wonder you were like, I'll just go one day.
And then there's rentals and all that. Anyway, I don't even know where I'm going after that.
No, and I have to go because I have to go get another job. So to pay for your ski habit, I have to leave now.
So even though it is a ski town, right? Colorado, of course, Summit County, Colorado is gorgeous in the summer, and that's actually the busy season for this resort. They actually don't even offer monthly stays during the summer season. A lot of people stay monthly all winter long, and then often a lot of the owners come in during the summer, and this is where they summer and they let other people do the winter stuff. So it just kind of depends what people want to do. But it is a beautiful place any time of the year, and spring skiing is great. There are some challenges with that. For us, this week was very warm, even more warm than it would normally be. And then it got cold after Abby left. And I didn't feel comfortable going to ski after Abby left because I didn't, want to break a leg on the mountain with the kids back home or anything like that. But
Thank you for that. I appreciate you thinking of that.
But the day we went, we only went skiing one day. We intended to go a few more, but the day we went, it was fairly warm. So the snow was really great in the morning. And then by the afternoon, it was absolutely terrible. So that you get kind of that sort of thing in the spring. But what you also get is very few lift lines. We never waited at all in a lift line, and I know the lift lines at some of the Summit County ski resorts can get very long, especially in recent years. I'm talking like half-hour waits sometimes. So it was a really great experience. Maybe 30% of the lifts and runs were closed at this point. They're starting to close stuff down mainly because snow's melting because it was getting warmer. The day we skied, I think the high was probably 55 degrees. So it got decently warm. But then you left and it did get cold again. And then we got dumped on with a ton of snow, as I talked about on the episode that I did by myself.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to ski on that wonderful snow, but that's okay.
So I have a question for you. As an individual who's been to this area several times, if someone said to you, what's the best time of year to ski Breckenridge? Now you've done, I know your family has gone around Thanksgiving. That was kind of pretty traditional.
So my family, our family vacations when I was growing up were often to Colorado to go skiing. And I feel the best times of the year are sort of the shoulder season. I can't even say that. Shoulder season. We were very far on the end of spring skiing.
Okay.
I would say a couple weeks earlier probably would have been a little bit better. But then the same goes for the fall. Like, you go around Thanksgiving and early December, it's gorgeous, right?
Okay.
So it just depends. And then it depends on where you go, because Breckenridge is going to have its own elevation and its own temperatures, but you can go places that are higher up. You can go places that are lower.
Are there places higher up? We should say we were 9,600 feet. That's the elevation at Breckenridge. And I know that there were some runs there that were up. Wasn't it 13,000, I think?
I think Breckenridge has the highest lift in North America. Don't fact check me on that.
Don't at him.
But I think they do, but they're not. They also have a lot of lowland stuff. So the 9,000 isn't as high as some of the places get. I know Arapahoe Basin is open much later in the season. A lot of it has to do with, the direction they're pointed towards the sun and all that sort of stuff. So it can get really, really granular depending on where you're going. As to what's open when and when they close, right?
Yeah.
So, but the whole ski industry has become this thing where it is very expensive, and it's kind of like They're really driving people into season passes.
I'm sorry, what you're saying is important, but what is arriving right now is even
hello.
more important.
Wow, you snuck up on me
This
like I didn't even.
Is phenomenal. So for the audio, our friends from the root of it all, Scott and Alicia, have been making beignets
This is my play, right?
behind us. And so they just brought us the
Oh my gosh,
first
that's a
batch,
legitimate.
and we're gonna
We're
gonna eat them.
I'm sorry that I'm eating into a microphone, but they were literally mixing the dough by hand minutes ago.
Podcast is over.
I mean, there's no way to eat a fresh beignet other than super, super fresh. So Scott and Alicia have been making beignets in the background, and they're handing them out to the crowd here. We've had a lot of dessert. We had a big dessert party last night, so this has been a big dessert event now, I think.
I know. I still owe everybody Rice Krispie treats.
We also had there was a food truck yesterday, and we had. They had just empanadas. We bought 12 empanadas, but 4 of them were the banana Nutella ones. So these don't bring more. I will eat them after.
Look at that.
I'm gonna have powdered sugar all over my beard.
I don't know if they can hear you, but you were talking about snow. I'm bringing you Louisiana snow.
Louisiana snow.
This is Louisiana snow. This is my kind of snow. This is my kind of Louisiana snow.
Oh my gosh, this tastes like.
This can be consumed.
Don't breathe in powdered sugar.
These beignets can be consumed at low elevations, and they are amazing.
So Scott and Alicia were at our very first meetup, and they made gumbo for that one. So
Can you just come to all of our meetups? Like, that would be amazing.
and it was incredible too.
Food is incredible. Thank you so much.
We won't run out of things to make from Louisiana.
No, you never can run out of things to make from Louisiana. That is
Okay,
so
napkin.
Good.
So, the thing about skiing is it's become one of those things that they're really trying to push people into season passes. So there's like the Epic Pass and the Icon Pass, and most of the major ski resorts are divided up between those two, and they want you to pay like $1,200 a year to get a pass. And so the day rates can get pretty high, and it's really frustrating and annoying for us that don't have the ability to go on 3 ski trips a year to make it make sense. But
Sure.
It is what it is. It's expensive. But the nice thing about a place like Tiger Run, it's about, I think it's 3 to 4 miles from the resort itself. An issue with mountain town ski resorts often is parking. So I was lucky enough to have a limo with me. I got dropped off.
You did get dropped off.
You know,
can I just say something really quick about the drop-off section? So they are like, here, this is our drop-off section. You can only stay for 15 minutes. That parking, and the drop-off section is where if you're being shuttled over from a resort, so you're talking, larger vans are going to be coming in. That shuttle section, I had to do... It was like a 22-point turn to try and get that truck out of there because it was so tiny and there were so many larger vehicles in there as well, dropping everybody off. Everybody's dumping out gear. There's people everywhere. Just be aware, the drop-off section is...
It's a bit challenging.
It's a bit challenging. You would think maybe in a more realistic world, it'd be sort of like an in-out situation as opposed to like you have to come in and out the same way in a really tiny little 2-lane next to a gate where everybody else is trying to get in to go to the parking garage, and it's just pandemonium. And I was like, this is the first time I've had to do this with the long bed truck, and I was looking at him and I was like, you might have to get me out of here. I just don't even know if I can do this. I'm like Austin Powers right now. And so just be aware if you are going to shuttle people and be the chauffeur for the day, that it's probably not going to be enjoyable for you whatsoever.
Well, one of the things about that, so the limited parking can be a challenge if you don't get there at a decent hour. And of course, you have to pay for parking too, and that can get expensive. But one of the nice things about Tiger Run is that it is on a free shuttle line. So you can just walk out of the resort and you have to cross the street, but you can take your skis with you and you can take the free shuttle that Breckenridge, the town of Breckenridge operates, and take that right to the mountain with your skis and all that stuff. in hand, and it's a really great option. It is kind of a walk to get out of the resort, though,
Yeah.
so would be kind of annoying to do like with your boots on or anything like that. But they have that available. Tiger Run has a fantastic staff for the price. You do get a lot. You get some really nice people working there. You get a heated pool, and it's an indoor pool, but it's got windows all around, so you get wonderful views. We were in the pool while it was snowing very hard on us, and that was just gorgeous. And again, it's heated, but then there's also 2 hot tubs. Nice shower rooms and stuff like that, a big gym space, a large arcade, a business center, and then they have a special separate area for owners to have like an owner's hangout space. And they're working on remodeling some of that stuff now. But overall, it's a great resort. The sites are tight. They're close to each other, but they're big in terms of like the pad you get, and they do a really good job landscaping them. So there's trees between most of the sites, and you don't feel like you're really on top of your neighbor or anything like that.
Yeah, so there's a lot about Tiger Run that you could go there and really just enjoy the resort itself. Playground, pickleball, they've got it all. The sites themselves are incredibly easy to get into, at least for a big fifth wheel like what we have. We've got the 43-foot behind us here. And so getting in and navigating around the campground was incredibly easy.
It's like double wide concrete all the way to the back, right? So you've got like probably 25-foot width of concrete if it's a 50-foot site.
Yeah, and you're going to get a gate code when you check in. So you're going to need that gate code in order to get into the resort. You're going to need it in order to get into the clubhouse.
When you are on your day of arrival or the night before, they send you an email that's got like the gate code check-in and a lot of information, and you can just go straight to your site. You don't have to go to the office and check in. But if you like that experience, if you like somebody to tell you what to do and stuff, you get that. Yeah. And so
they can drive you. If you like somebody to drive you to your site and then tell you how to back it in, absolutely, they can do that for you, I'm sure.
I'm not a fan of that, so I really appreciated that ability to just kind of go right in. There was a little bit of confusion because like we didn't know where the garbage was and stuff because we didn't look at the map, and we had a hard time figuring out where our site was at first because we didn't look at the map. And
that's human error.
Yeah,
that was RVer error right there. There's no reflection of the campground. Another great thing too is that they have propane fill there, so you really have everything that you need.
We filled our propane twice there.
Yes,
so
because you will fill it, and you will need to fill it a lot. Now, some of the sites, and it could possibly be in colder months or depending on the owner of that site, they have the big, enormous propane tanks.
Yeah, they get them delivered.
Site.
There's like a separate service that will deliver them for you and fill them up for you if you're there monthly over the winter or anything like that.
I can't say that they let people use those when they rent them out. We didn't have one on the particular site that we were at. I know someone next to us did. But that's something to consider, too. If you're renting it out for a month, they may have that option for you so that you're not constantly going up to the front office to have your propane filled, because we did need to call before we went up there just to make sure that someone could come out and help us.
They have specific propane hours. You didn't need to, but they asked you to so that they could have somebody, a maintenance person has to come up and do it. And the place is so huge that it takes them 15 minutes to get from one end to the other. One more thing about the resort that I really appreciated was every single site had its own Wi-Fi.
Yes.
There's probably 400 sites in this place, if not more. And each site at the power pedestal has a Wi-Fi router built into it. You log into it individually. We only used that the entire time that we were there, and it was blazing fast, perfect fast. Wi-Fi, no issues at all.
So by the time you are watching or listening to this, I will have posted a reel on Instagram, Facebook, and a short on YouTube of specifically our site. We were in site 285. So if you would like to see a full walk around of what that looks like, including the distance to the clubhouse, we were relatively close to the clubhouse, which was really nice. If you would like to see that, just hop over to one of those social media channels, one of the RV Miles social media channels, and you can take a look at that for yourself just to kind of get a better idea of what our site looked like and what it looks like to stay at Tiger Run.
Spring is here. Time to get your rigs ready for the travel season. This is the perfect time to complete those much-needed upgrades or repairs, and that's where eTrailer.com comes in. eTrailer.com's customer service and enthusiast teams are ready to help you find the best solution for your unique situation. eTrailer's team is focused on putting their actual hands on everything they sell so they know exactly what it's like to use the product, providing you, the customer, with quality service and recommendations based on personal experience. If you're looking for a one-stop shop, eTrailer.com has you covered with a variety of RV items, including towing options, interior accessories, replacement parts, storage, and more. But it doesn't stop with RVs. eTrailer.com offers tons of automobile accessories, campground gear, and more. If you need it, chances are they've got it. Visit the link in the description and receive free shipping on orders over $99. More in a moment, but first, if you're like us, you absolutely need internet on your travels. And the sponsor of today's video is a great internet solution for travelers. It's a cellular device that works on multiple carriers from a company called TravelFi. TravelFi allows remote workers or anyone on the move really reliable internet access that allows you to move around freely. You don't have to have a permanent location at all to set it up. It's a small, compact device with no contracts and no commitments. You just pay for the months you use, and it just works really well, really quickly, really easily. And if it isn't working for you, they have a US-based call center to help you troubleshoot. TravelFi allows you to stream, work, and play on the go, whether you need internet in your RV, your cabin, even your hotel room. You can get internet in so many different places thanks to their multi-carrier network, and you can browse and work in confidence and comfort. When you go to their website and use the code RVMiles15, you can get 15% off your device order. Again, no contracts, no commitments. You just pay for the months you're using it for. If you're not traveling in the winter, you don't have to pay for it in those months. There's a link in the description below, or you can go to travelfi.com. That's TRAVLFI.com. There's no E. TRAVLFI.com, or go to the link in the description and use code RVMiles15 for 15% off.
There are so many more things that you can do in Breckenridge, and we did not, unfortunately, get to do probably half the things that we had on our list because it was just a different experience for us.
There's lots of hiking. There's lots of biking opportunities. There's big bike trail, big long bike trail. That's another option for you if you've got electric bikes and you want to head into town. There's a bike trail that follows the main road. There's all sorts of stuff. We did spend a good amount of time in town shopping and eating.
We did eat a lot while we were there. We didn't make it to the Troll.
No.
And that was such a big bummer. Like, we really wanted to do that hike.
There's a giant wooden troll carving. It's huge, and there's a short hike to it. Yeah. We just didn't have time to get around to that. And we were going to do it, and there was 20 inches of snow on the ground. So.
Yeah, and then by the time I got back, it was, well, we need to pack up and leave, and we've got to continue on. So there were a few things like that, some outdoor things that we wanted to do that we weren't able to accomplish. But we can recommend a few places to maybe go have some dinner after or before those hikes, get a little something to eat. And the first one is one we actually went to twice, and that was called Downstairs at Eric's. And this was such a fantastic place. It is just like, it's got this sports bar type feel, but what it has attached to it is an arcade. So you go downstairs, you come in, and immediately you are presented with the arcade. They've got skee-ball, they've got Mario Kart, they've got pinball machines, they've got Pac-Man. Like, they've got just a whole gamut of older games, newer games, and you can, because there's going to be a wait, and it's so smart of them, because while you are waiting for your table, you are playing video games and enjoying a drink from the bar. It's very family friendly. The kids had a great time there. I love skee ball, so I was very happy to wait for my table and play skee ball.
They have a very large menu, which is why we went there twice, because our kids have such very different tastes.
Very large palettes of one thing.
But there are lots of different options to eat there. They're known kind of for their pizza. which weirdly is not something I had while we were there, but
No, I had nachos.
but Henry did, and
my brother did. We took
Yeah.
my brother
Yeah.
when he was there.
but I had a steak sandwich one day. I don't remember the other thing I had, but the food was all very good. The service was very good. They have a great beer selection and lots of cocktails and stuff like that. And it was kind of like a famous sort of hangout place where there's, people have put their stickers from all over the world on the walls. Abby actually saw a sticker from our hometown.
Yeah, Stomp Box Brewery was there, and that's a Davenport, Iowa brewery right there on the Mississippi, and they had a sticker in the women's room just
We
right there on
weren't
the
smart
door.
enough to have RV Miles stickers with us.
No,
So
no, we had them sent here because that's how not smart we were. We didn't even bring the hundreds of ones that we have sitting in the studio. We had to order
new ones because we forgot them all.
Because we bought them. So we went there, but you took the boys to another kind of iconic place in Breckenridge.
Yeah, it's called the Blue Stag Saloon, and this is sort of like kind of an elevated saloon feel. It looks like kind of an old saloon inside. The food is kind of expensive, kind of heightened though. So you have like wood-fired pizzas for our children instead of regular oven pizzas. They have, a big thing in Colorado is getting anything with bison meat. A lot of us from the Midwest have never had anything with bison in them, and when you come out to Colorado, you have lots of options that have bison. So there were bison burgers and bison chili and stuff like that. Got to tell the kids what Rocky Mountain oysters were for the first time.
Mm-hmm. And they haven't. Hold on. They haven't forgotten. So.
And we didn't try
Jason,
them.
What is a Rocky Mountain oyster? How about you tell that in a way that keeps this a family-friendly show?
They're testicles.
Oh, that's so nice. You
Yeah,
used
is that
the technical-
family-friendly? Okay.
Yeah, my mom would be so proud of you for using the technical term for them. So
great.
she'd be very proud of you.
Yeah,
So. But what kind of testicles?
The bowls, right? I mean, obviously.
Everybody's reluctantly shaking their heads at you. They would like us to move on from this.
But like a bovine, I guess is the word. What's the term for a cow that's not cow or bull? There's a word, right? Is it bovine? Huh? Male. Yeah, but I mean like the species. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's why I was struggling because I couldn't.
Yes, Jason, you were right. It's okay. Everyone's confirmed it for you. You were right. It's good.
Because you could have what I was getting at is there's also bison. We were just talking about bison, and you've got cows and bulls that are bison, and it's not bison.
Okay.
I don't think.
But nobody had any of those.
Nobody ate
Nobody ate any of those.
Couldn't.
But you all enjoyed your time there.
Great cocktails, great time there. I wanted to take you guys back there, but you and Jason had just gotten off of your epic, awful drive, and I think you were just ready for something that felt a little bit familiar because you'd been there once already. Mm-hmm. So we went back to Eric's again.
Yeah, I was needing something a little just relaxed.
When you were gone, I took the kids into town a few times. We did lots of shopping. There's lots of great fun shops for all kinds of, mountain gear, camping gear, outdoor clothing like Patagonia. That's all there for you to have. And then there's great little sweet shops and cookie shops and bakeries and ice cream shops, and there's an outdoor creperie, all kinds of stuff like that. We got a lot of cookies. We got a big sort of 12-pack of cookies.
You did?
And ate those, yeah.
Were they good?
They were great.
That's nice. Did you save me any?
Do we need to talk about what you did while you were gone?
No, move on. Quickly, please. No. We don't need to talk about it.
Day by yourself in an amusement park?
Stop it. Shh.
That was our time in Breckenridge, Colorado.
I'm in trouble now. Yeah, that was our time in Breckenridge, Colorado. If you have suggestions, of course, we would love to hear them. You can leave them as a comment down in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can pop over to the RV Miles Facebook group and you can share it there. Because obviously, Tiger Run is a very popular place. There are plenty of videos out there in the YouTube world on staying at Tiger Run. So this is a resort not only that a lot of RVers go to, but a lot of RVers are incredibly curious about. So if you've got comments, we would love to hear them.
I should also mention, this is not a place where you're far away from everything.
No.
Like if there's a Walmart that's 10 minutes away, there's big grocery stores. You got your rental car.
Yeah.
There's towns like Silverthorne where there's all the things that you need. So don't feel like you got to stock up to get to a place like this. There's along I-70, there's plenty of things.
I mean, if you'd like to save money, stock up
Yes,
before you
exactly,
get there. It's a little bit
exactly.
more expensive, but you can find what you need. You're not remote and removed. All right, it is time to check the level of our tanks. And as always, this is sponsored by our friends over at Liquefied RV Toilet Treatment, the No BS Toilet Treatment. And hey, guess what? I was wrong last week. They're still doing the giveaway. It's going on until May 31st. So if you have not had a chance to go over to liquefiedrv.com and register to win an Alliance Delta travel trailer, you now have at least 3 more weeks to go do it. So head over there and check that out. All right, Jay, what is in your black tank this week?
My black tank is that I'm hearing more about more closures of Army Corps of Engineers campgrounds. You know, with some of the issues happening in the federal government, I think a lot of people have been worried about some of this stuff. And generally, throughout most of the different federal land agencies that have campgrounds, there haven't been any closure issues, except at the Army Corps of Engineers. I don't know what the reason for that is, but, you know, I've talked on the news in the past few weeks about a lot of Northeastern district campgrounds closing, and then a lot of the Northern Plains campgrounds throughout the Dakotas and Kansas, and now there are some Pacific Northwest ones that are closing. So that's disappointing. Really, what it comes down to is not being able to get seasonal workers. So, you know, a lot of people have left the federal government and jobs are not being filled. But there has been the authorization to hire seasonal workers to make up for that. But the problem is the seasonal worker positions came later than they normally would. So if you're somebody that is interested in seasonal work at a campground, paid, you know, a lot of work camping is free, but there's a lot of paid seasonal jobs within the federal government that are available right now. If you just go to, I think it's US jobs or something.gov. There are lots of seasonal jobs available in national parks and Army Corps of Engineers, Bureau of Land Management, all that sort of stuff. But, you know, they don't say how long these closures are going to be. It's just until they can get people to deal with the things. Because obviously the Army Corps of Engineers sites, the campgrounds are sort of secondary to the purpose of those sites. Those sites are generally around a dam, and the people that work there run the dam and all that sort of stuff. And the campground is sort of just, well, we have land, we might as well have a campground. So that's happening. It's unfortunate, but just want to make sure that if you have sort of plans for this summer to go to some of these sites, that you are, you know, checking to make sure that the sites that you're going to are going to be open. They should automatically be emailing you and refunding you if there's an issue, but just want to make sure everybody knows that that kind of stuff is out there.
Can I just say really quick,
Yeah.
fresh tank to you for trying to take on a really like newsworthy type topic while you're covered in powdered sugar. So I just, you know, real professional, like talking RV news here. And then
Well, it's coating my lungs, it's coating my stomach, it's coating my coat.
I was watching you talk and I was like, oh, look at all the powdered sugar on him. And I was like, and yet the professional ever, you just focused in and
That's
told
because I
the
didn't know what I look like. Okay?
Yes, so I just fresh tanked to you for doing that. I think that's pretty fantastic. And speaking of what is also in your fresh tank.
So my fresh tank kind of starts off with a black tank. You know, I covered last week on the news the issues with Heartland RV, Cruiser RV, DRV. They're all sort of subsidiaries of Heartland, but are now subsidiaries of Jayco. Lots of people losing their jobs, unfortunately, factories being shut down. I don't think those brands, or at least not all 3 of them, are entirely going away. Cruiser is a little up in the air, but they're probably going to be manufacturing a lot of those floor plans in Jayco factories. But the fresh tank of this is, you know, this sort of stemmed from when Heartland got moved over to the Jayco division under Thor Industries. These are all Thor Industries brands. Back in March, the first people to lose their jobs were management folks that were in charge of those companies. And some of those people are starting a brand new RV company. an independent. They're starting with fifth wheels, kind of like in the same vein that Alliance did and then Brinkley did. And you might have an opinion about the people that might have run certain brands and being like, well, they're going to start another brand, and that brand had issues. Clearly, what makes them think they can start another brand? Well, if you look into some of the stuff they've talked about how they want to start this brand, they've got a lot of opinions about what's wrong with the RV industry and how they think that they could fix it. So the new brand's going to be called Axiom RV. And like I said, they're going to start with fifth wheels. They do plan to be a full line of a trailer manufacturer. They plan to have a single name. That they made an important distinction in this press release that they want to have a single brand name for each of their different price points,
but the
so
real
people don't get
question,
confused.
will they have 400 floor plans?
That's
or
a great
will they just
question.
have maybe like
But
4?
I do think it is great anytime we get a new independent manufacturer in the RV industry. It's important to have that sort of competition, and not have just the big conglomerates manufacturing stuff, because those people need to be able to keep up with somebody. Alliance and Brinkley have made a lot of great things, and their existence in the marketplace has driven the other brands to do a lot of different things. And we're going to see more of that going forward. This has been a wild roller coaster of a 5-year period for the RV industry, and there have been lots of quality issues. There have been lots of changes over that time, and I think we're about to see some more hurt, but we're also about to see some things flourishing, some of the cream rising to the top, so to speak. So I'm excited about that going forward. And again, it's just great to have a new company out there. So what is in your black tank this week?
So my black tank is us. We were just talking about this a little bit ago in regards to this campground that we're staying in. So we've been talking to this campground for months now, putting this event together. We knew the address. We knew where we were going. We roll up into this campground, and all of a sudden we're like, hey, we've stayed here before.
I actually realized as we're coming down the highway, and I saw it, because you got to go past it and then come back.
Yeah.
I was like, we've definitely been here before.
And the reason why we knew that was because we did the same thing that we did the last time we stayed here, which was miss the frontage road turn and turn back onto 80 and get back on the highway going in the opposite direction, passing the campground and waving to it as we went zipping down the highway again, just like we did the last time we stayed here. And then we were like, yes, we remember it well.
And it's like a 25-minute detour.
It was for us.
Now, in our defense, this campground has a new name because it's under new ownership. Okay, well, it's a similar name. It was called Echo Island, and now it's called...
let's not.
Now it's called Rome Echo Island,
Yeah.
but...
Wow, so different.
But they have... but it looks completely different. So all the photos we saw and everything look different because they've done a lot of work to the place. They've put a lot of blacktop in. They've put pavilions in. They've done a lot of stuff here. They have this awesome ropes course that we'll talk about in the future. I guess we're going to talk about that in the very near future. So, in the conversations we had, we didn't really realize that. But then, when we pulled in, I remembered making this same mistake last time we were here. There's a frontage road that the campground is on, and then there's just before that, there's the entrance ramp to get back onto the highway. Yeah. They look on the map identical. They're the same shape. They're right next to each other. And there is a frontage road sign that is between the two of them. It's not right there. And
fine. We should have known.
There's a gas station on the corner that has its own little RV park. That it looks completely different than this place, but there are big signs at this gas station that say RV check-in. And I remembered last time we were here, like, is this it? And we stopped and we're trying to figure that out. And then you have to go down and you just have to keep going down the road and you get to it. But it was quite the detour on a day that we were already running late, and we were hoping to be here a lot sooner than we were.
Yeah, and the hits just kept coming after that once we arrived. So we'll talk about that at a later date.
What's your surprise fresh tank?
Well, I have a couple of fresh tanks. I'm just going to kind of go through quickly. So one of them is Jason just alluded to, there's a super cool zipline rope course that's here at Rome Echo Island, along with like an enclosed sort of netted obstacle course down on the ground and another kind of netted, almost like trampoline that they call the Nest. Those two things are open. The ones on the ground, they're open all the time, and kids can access them, adults can access them. The zipline and rope course is open during certain times and is a paid activity. But this is the first time I've been at a campground where distinctly it has felt like the play structures have been structured for somewhat older kids and also adults. I mean, Jason has thoroughly enjoyed going out there and running that course with the kids and jumping in the nest with them and having a good time. And I think that that was really cool for this like chapter of travel that we're in, having older kids. Our kids have spent a lot of time over there, which is something they really don't do anymore because they really have outgrown a traditional playground at this point. So that was a really nice surprise when we showed up here to know that they had not only the above in the treetops, all up in the treetops, this zipline rope course, but then also down below something that anyone could access if they didn't want to pay for the above activity.
So many campgrounds, it's, you know, it's a play structure with, you know, some swings and a slide and stuff. It's meant for kids that are like 10, 12 and under. And our kids have, they'll enjoy those a little bit.
No, they've really
but they've
outgrown them. They've outgrown them.
So
that was my first fresh tank. My second fresh tank is I just want to, again, thank our friends over here from the Root of It All, Scott and Alicia, for making these amazing beignets today for all of us. They've been going around to everybody out here and serving them, and it's just been phenomenal, and they're so delicious. Jason's wearing them. I'm wearing them. It's been wonderful. And then I also just want to thank everyone that is here today, not only that has sat and listened to this podcast for the last, I don't know, hour that we've been talking, but then also we had this show and tell yesterday. It's something that we do now at all of either our homecoming or our hangouts, and it's such an incredible way to learn from other RVers about what's working for them, what are things that they like, and unique things that you wouldn't really think about. And so that happened across the board yesterday. These are some incredibly resourceful RVers here with some super cool items. And so I would love to thank them for taking the time to talk to us about that, thank them for their time here. And then also I have, if you want to see them, I've put them all into a list on our Amazon shop, at least everything that I could get off Amazon. There were probably 2 or 3 things that weren't there. So if you want to see how resourceful all these people are, you can go over to amazon.com/shop/RVmiles. You can see for yourself. And then if you have a gadget and you're going to come to Homecoming, which is happening September 24th through the 28th, we hope that you will share it with us then.
that's it for this week's episode of the RV Miles podcast.
Yes, it's time to go eat some more beignets. Thank you. So if you are enjoying the podcast, please head over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, or if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure that you like and subscribe to this channel. Everything, every like, every 5-star review, every subscribe just helps us grow and helps us reach more in the RV Miles community. And if you would like to spend even more time with Jason and Abby, which I know is something you all want to do, you can become a Mile Marker member. Just head over to rvmiles.com/mile markers. It's $7 a month, $70 a year. We have a whole bunch of perks, but more importantly, there are some really amazing people there that have been hanging out with us for some time, and we are all better for knowing them. So thank you all so much for being here. Please stay safe, stay healthy. Don't stay healthy.
Oh my gosh.
Eat beignets.
Oh my gosh. When they're hot. Oh.
I can't even finish this. Keep logging those RV miles.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.